So sitting up nice and tall, just start to take right away a few really long, slow, deep breaths. And I'm going to tell you a story to start today's class. I was at a friend's house last week, Paula, actually. Amy and Alex know her, Mateo's family. And they were showing me videos from 1996 by the Mexican government of parents getting angry with their children when they weren't listening. And in the video, the parents would go up and they'd be about to slap the child across the face because it was so normalized to physically abuse children. And then the screen would go black, the parent would blur, and a narrator would say, respirar, respirar, stop, breathe. Take 5 breaths and don't hit your child. This is quite literally a very real video series from 1996. And it made me think just how important it is to do breath work and yoga as parents, because those moments happen, right? All the time. We might not be about to hit our kids, but you can feel the fire in your body. So I want you to sit up nice and tall, close your eyes, and think about the last time you almost lost it on your kid or maybe your spouse. And maybe your version of lost it is very different than someone else's, but you know what it is. You know where your edge is, where your bandwidth is. And visualize yourself there. Take yourself there for a second and notice what you feel in your body. So you might feel constriction in your throat, a tightness in your belly. Just notice where you feel that feeling. Take a breath in through your nose and send that breath to the place in your body that gets tense or reactive when thinking about those moments where you're on your edge of rage. And then exhale with an audible sigh. So a breath. And we'll do this 5 more times. Inhale. Open your mouth wide and exhale with a Take another breath in. Exhale with that big sigh as loud as you want. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. Take one more breath in. And at the top of that inhale, just when you think you can't, swallow up a little more air, and spit it out. Exhale through your mouth. Really, really good. Sit here with it and set the intention today to learn how to calm yourself down. I will learn how to calm myself down. Your eyes can stay closed. You could also open them, but you're simply tucking your chin in towards your chest and starting to roll your left ear over towards your left shoulder. If you need to pick up your shoulders to help you take your head back in a full head circle, you can do that. But let's come all the way around twice in each direction. We will do lots of simple, subtle movements that have big impacts today. Good. Turn your head around the other direction. Make sure you get 2 big head circles in the other direction. Pick your head and your shoulders up. Look straight out in front of you. Lift your shoulders up and squeeze them down your back. So shoulder rolls now. Simple shoulder rolls, lifting up and draping your arms back. 3 times in each direction. And think about moving in a way that almost feels sensual, like if you were to get a massage from someone. Try to take out some of the stiffness, some of the tightness. Open your arms out to the side. Spread your fingers wide now and lift your arms up. Look up to your fingers. Touch all 10 fingers together and lower your hands to your heart. Let's do that again, but with breath. Inhale, sweep your arms beside you. Reach them up. Look towards your fingers. And exhale, lower your hands down. Last time, inhale. As you reach your arms up, your chest opens and your gaze lifts up. And as you exhale, you can drop your thumbs right down to your heart center. Perfect. Now take your right hand and place it on the floor beside you, right on the floor beside you. Inhale, reach your left arm up. We're working through the sidelines of our body here. So as you stretch that top arm up and over, root down both sit bones and maybe pick your gaze up. Maybe not. Start to bend deeper into that lower elbow, giving this big, big sideline of your body a deep, deep stretch. Use an inhale, lift it back up, reach both arms up, spread your fingers wide. And with your exhale, drop your hand to the floor and stretch over to the other side. You got it. Now reach those top fingers away, and as you do it, push both sit bones down so you get the sensation through the entire left side of your torso. Sink deeper through that lower elbow. And on your next inhale, pick it all up and reach both arms up to the ceiling. Good. Take your right hand to the floor, bend your left elbow, and place your left palm across your right ear. You're going to start to drag that ear over towards its shoulder. Option 1, stay here. Option 2, take your fingers and catch the back of your scapula. Catch not your scapula, your skull. Catch the back of your head. And start to tuck your chin in towards your chest. And now as you do this, you can play with what's happening on that lower arm and lower hand. And I hope that you start to find sensation right up along here. This tends to be one of the most tense spots on the back of our head and neck. Take a big breath in. Exhale, release that hand, tuck your chin into your chest and just move your head over to the other side so you can do that same stretch on the opposite side. Phase 1, you're just tucking the ear down towards your shoulder, and that might be enough. Phase 2, tack your fingers to the back of your skull, draw your chin into your chest and play with the placement of your bottom hand. Find your breath here. Perfect. Pull up through center, take both arms and reach them up overhead and lower your hands back down to your heart. Now turn your body around. You can put your blanket under your knees if you need to and come onto all fours. And if you haven't pressed play on your Spotify, it's nice to add music for the rest of this sequence. You can do that now. When you get onto all fours, stack your joints. So your shoulders are set right above your wrists, your hips are directly above your knees. Find a little constriction in your core. Tummy is really strong. It's not dumping down, it's hugging in. Flex into both feet. Take a deep breath in and let your torso dump between your shoulders. Loop your shoulder blades back, lift your gaze up. That's the full inhale. When you exhale, puff between your shoulder blades, tuck your tailbone in and look into your tummy. Inhale, drop your belly down, loop your shoulders back, lift your heart and chest up. Exhale into full spinal flexion, really push into the floor, see if you can puff a little more. And do 3 more just like that, undulating in and out of cat-cow. Good, come through neutral, pause here. Think about that strong core. Root down through your right knee and your left hand and pick your right arm up. So it's reaching out in front like it's about to shake somebody's hand. Stretch your left leg back and right away, pull your belly button in. So imagine you can even take your right hand and push your tummy in towards your spine. Or imagine that I was coming around and doing that to you. Legs are strong, arms are strong. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, bend your knee into your elbow right beneath your belly button. Inhale, stretch everything out really nice and long. Keep going. This action of bird dog is so, so good for stabilizing your core, for helping support your spine. And the second you want to stop, the second you feel like you've had enough, maybe your left wrist is hurting, maybe your core is getting a little too turned on, I want you to do one more. Finally, let's take our hands and knees down, pause. Take cat-cow, drop your belly down, move your shoulders back, lift your heart and chest up, look up. And with an exhale, puff between your shoulder blades and round into your upper back. Slip back through center, so much focus here. Engage your core, stretch your left arm long and kick your right leg back. Good, notice if that right hip is lifting up, level it out so it's on a nice level plane with your left hip. Think about sucking up through your right armpit, then integrate the movement. So a slow and steady curling in and pushing out. You've got it. You're rocking back and forth here without a count. So you don't know how long you'll do this. But the moment you start to feel like you've had enough, notice what might stop you, what wants you to get out of it. And then do one more. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that that's about right now. Or release your hands and release your knees back down to the floor. Good. Keep your left hand where it is. Take your right arm. Stretch your right arm up like you're pulling an arrow on a bow and arrow. Stretch your right arm up. Look up. And now as you exhale, sink your hips back to your heels. Reach your right arm underneath your left arm. Untuck your toes and come through a twisted child's pose. So your right ear is down on the floor. You got it. Left arm stretched out overhead. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pull your body up. Take that right arm, pull the arrow, the imaginary arrow out, send it up to the sky, and then stretch your arm forward to place it back down on the floor. Let's do the other side. Inhale, reach your left arm up with focus and intentionality. Exhale, scoop your left arm under your right arm, reach your right fingers forward and let your bum fall down to your hips. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push through your right hand, pull your left arm all the way up and stretch it forward to bring it back down to the floor. Good. Stack your hands under your shoulders. And from here, could you just lift your knees away from the floor? Just your knees. About 2 or 3 inches. And when you get there, think about that cat spine. So puff up between your shoulder blades, look forward. Take a big breath in. Exhale, stay here, stay with it. Inhale, push the floor away with your hands, send your hips high, and find your first downward facing dog. Come into stillness right away. Root your heels down, spread your toes nice and wide. And then spread your fingers wide and think about externally rotating your shoulders. So your shoulders are opening out to either side. Bend into your right knee as you really ground down through your left heel. Switch to the other side, bend into your left knee and ground down through your right heel. Slow pedaling of your feet while keeping your head hanging heavy between your upper arms. Perfect. Pause. Keep your hands where they are. Could you bend both knees so they hover just above the floor? And then straighten out both legs. Sink your heels down. Try that again. Bend both knees to a hover. Straighten out both legs and sink your heels down. Take a big breath in through your nose. Open your mouth wide. Exhale. Ah, breath.
Perfect. Inhale, look forward, step all the way to the top of your yoga mat. And when you get there, slip your hands right up your shins, lift your spine up halfway. Exhale, fold, and just be upside down. It's okay if you take opposite elbows or if you let your hands dangle to the floor. You might even sway your head, yes or no. But catch yourself here in this inversion and focus on your breath. If all you do is 5 conscious breaths a day, you're doing yoga. Yoga is more breath than the physical postures. Push into your feet, tuck your chin into your chest, come up like a rag doll, like a zombie. Slowly, slowly. Lift all the way up. Loop your shoulders up towards your ears and take 3 big shoulder rolls. 3 big shoulder rolls in each direction. You might notice already, just 20 minutes into your movement practice, that things are starting to feel a little different. Good. From standing, come to the top of your yoga mat. Take your arms and reach both arms up. And let's start, sorry, I'll come back so you can see me. Let's start by catching the left wrist with our right hand and reach over towards the right. So you're taking a big lateral bend here, reaching over to one side. Perfect. Push your pubic bone forward, squeeze your bum cheeks together like you're trying to, I don't know, like you're trying to, so I was gonna say squeeze a blueberry between your bum cheeks, but that's just so gross to even think about. Reach over, each to their own, and then come back through center. Other side. Good, big, big side body stretch. You're creating this cool crescent shape with your body. And when you breathe deeper, the crescent becomes a little bigger. Pull back in through center. Take your hands, reach your hands back behind you, and interlace your fingers behind your back. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Feet are nice and hip distance apart. Toes are spread super wide. Bend into your knees. Let your belly layer over your thighs. And if your hands can release away from your lower back, try that. Inching into a forward fold with big scapular movement here by stretching the arms back, and maybe you can straighten your legs, inviting hamstring work as well. Take a breath in. Exhale, lower your hands to your lower back, and then release your palms and press each hand against each shin to lift up halfway. The exhale takes your palms onto the floor and pushes your body back into a high plank or maybe a low plank. So you can have your bum lifted or your knees are set on the floor, and we'll just breathe here with strong, sustained core stability for 5, 4, 3. Think about cat spine or cow spine puffing up between your shoulder blades. 1 more breath in. Now as you exhale, drop your knees, drop the tops of your feet to the floor. Bend into your elbows so they suck against the sides of your body and lower all the way down to your tummy. When you get there, roll your shoulders back, just like we did from standing, but pick up your heart and chest into a baby cobra. Exhale, lower right back down. Could you try that again, but lift your hands 2 inches away from the floor, so you're using the strength of your spine, the strength of your lats to lift you up, and lower back down. For the 3rd repetition, take your hands off your yoga mat, lift up onto each of your fingers, and take your feet nice and wide. Your elbows are poking up. Push into your fingers, inhale, lift up the highest this time. Maybe lift your gaze, let your pubic bone be your feet, it's rooting down. And lower back down to your mat. Plant your palms, push into your hands and your knees, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in here. Open your mouth wide and exhale. Really good. Could you step your right foot between your hands? Step your right foot between your hands. Bend into your right knee. Find that 90-degree angle, and then ground your left foot at a 45-degree angle. Press into the soles of both feet. Inhale, lift your arms up. Stay here and breathe. And as you breathe, can you keep anchoring through the back line of your left foot? So the whole left foot is on the floor. Think about pulling your inner arches up. I recently had to get my son Archer orthotics for his shoes, and they've got this big, big arch that they're trying to build into his foot. Can you push through your big toe mound, push through your heel, and imagine you had orthotics on, so you're pulling up where they'd be pushing into your arch. Take one more breath like that. Good. Lower your hands down to your mat and step back into downward facing dog. Catch your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Look forward. Same thing on the other side. Step your left foot forward and ground through the sole of your right foot. It's on a 45-degree angle. Your left knee sets above your left ankle. Inhale, reach your arms up. Taking our time, really foundational work here. Now with your arms lifting up overhead, you get this opportunity to work on the muscular body of your legs. So could you engage the back leg, really fire up the muscles of your right thigh, push through the soles of your feet, but lift through those inner arches. Right in between the big toe mound and the start of your heel, there's an upward action. And I hope that engages your legs even more. Take one more breath in. And exhale, place your hands down on the floor. Slowly step back to plank pose. Either holding high plank or low plank, finding a little fire through your belly for 5. Good, 4. Engage your core when you're here. Be athletic in plank pose. 2. On 1, drop your knees, drop the tops of your feet, bend your elbows and lower all the way down to your tummy. This time, take your hands behind your back. Interlace them behind your back like you did in standing. Lots of repetition here. Push your pubic bone down. Suck your belly button up. Try that again. Push your pubic bone down and suck your belly button up. Lift up. Lift your heart in your chest. Maybe lift your toes. You don't have to. Stay here and breathe. Locust pose. You're waking up your spine for 5, 4, 3, 2. Wonderful. Come down to your belly, close your eyes, just rock your bum from side to side. Feel the energy moving through your body. Set your hands alongside your chest, flex your feet. Try this with me. Think about plank. Hands are beside your chest, feet are flexed. Think about plank. Can you push right up into a high plank? It's lots of muscular work. And if you can't, it's okay. Push back, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in here. Exhale. Inhale, step your right foot forward. Step your right foot forward and turn your left toes to face the left long edge of your mat. Anchoring that right knee over your right ankle. Lift up. This is warrior 2. Stay here. Warrior 2. You're still rooting through the 4 corners of your feet and then picking up through those inner arches. Your legs are still super strong, just like warrior 1. And your shoulders are stacked above your hips. Good. Look over your front middle fingers and see if you can find a little bit of inner warrior, muscular work in the lower body, organic, calm energy in the face. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep that right knee bent and place your right elbow onto your thigh. Think about opening your left hip up. Take your left arm to the ceiling. Good. Option 1, you could stay here. Option 2 is to create a big, long line along the side of your body. Stretch your left arm alongside your ear. Left arm alongside your ear. And then as you do this, push your pubic bone forward. Roll your left ribs open to the sky and maybe peer underneath your left armpit like you're trying to sniff it. Breathing for 5. Get lighter on that right elbow. 4. That's it. 3, 2, on 1. Use your left hand to pick you up. Come all the way up. Straighten your arms and straighten your front leg. Trikonasana, now triangle pose. Reach your right fingers forward. Release your right hand to your right shin and stretch your left arm to the ceiling. Now resist the temptation to collapse into that right shin. In fact, if you find yourself collapsing, take your right hand away from the shin altogether. Push your pubic bone forward again. Good, and breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Press into both feet, lift all the way up. Lift all the way up. Let's try this. Take your back foot and step your back foot halfway up your yoga mat, and separate your feet a little bit wider. We'll work towards a twisted triangle. Set both hip bones forward. If you had little flashlights on those frontal hip bones, they'd shoot right out in front of you. And then start to track. You could even use your right thumb, track your right hip back. Take your left hand forward, like you're shaking someone's hand out in front of you, and place your left hand to the outside of that right foot. Now, it might not get there. You might need a block, or you can catch your shin. Then, with length in your spine, start to integrate rotation. So pull your right ribs up. Your right hand could stay on your back or reach up to the ceiling. The whole time you're here, you need to scissor your inner thighs together. You got it. Breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2. On 1, take your right hand down and place it on the right side of your right foot and just fold over that right leg. Fold over your right leg. Take a big breath in. Stay here as you exhale. Good. Stay where you are. Right hand on one side, left hand on the other side. Lean into the ball of your right foot and start to pick up your left leg. You're coming into a balancing shape. Now, the first variation is called toppling tree. Your hands can stay on the floor or they come to the right ankle or right shin as that left leg shoots up. Some people call this standing splits. And it's going to be wiggly and jiggly, and that's okay. Just fall into the wiggles and jiggles and come back to the pose. Breathe here for 3, 2. On 1, place your hands down on the floor. Listen carefully. Could you bend your left leg, bend your right leg, and then come to sit with your left knee to the right of your right foot. So you're coming into a seated spinal twist. Your left leg is bent on the floor. The right foot is stamped on the earth outside of the thigh. Brilliant. Take your right hand back behind you. Inhale, lift your left arm up. Exhale, bend at your left elbow and rotate. Rotate again. See if you can start to stretch all the way up through your cervical spine. So your neck and your gaze looks back behind you. Breathe here for 3, 2, 1. Unwind, pull it back through center. Oh, big twist to the other side. And then unwrap your legs. Push yourself back. Could you find downward facing dog? And we'll do that whole sequence on the other side. And then we're done. Let your head hang heavy in downward dog. Bend into one knee and then the next. Look forward, just step your left foot between your hands. Step your left foot between your hands. Turn those right toes to face the right long edge of your mat, and you'll bring it all the way up into Warrior 2. All the way up into Warrior 2, that's it. Breathing here. 4, 5. 4, 3, 2, And one, straighten through your front leg. Stretch your left fingers forward and release Trikonasana. Lightly graze that left shin with your left hand. Reach your right arm up. And today, can you try to set your right thumb above your nose? Push your pubic bone forward. Incredible. Breathe here. 4, 5, 4, 3. Push harder through that right foot like you're trying to push right through the earth. 2. Incredible. 1. Lift it all the way up. Let's bend into that front knee now. Bend into your front knee. Take your left elbow onto the thigh and reach your right arm first just up to the sky. And if it feels already in your shoulder joint, you'll internally rotate that arm, pull the shoulder joint back, and reach the right arm alongside your right ear. Breathing here, you're in side angle pose. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pull it up through center, lift everything up. Your front leg is straight. Step your back foot forward, just halfway up your mat, and turn your arms, your chest, and those headlights on your hips forward. Inhale, lift your gaze up. Exhale, you're going to shake someone's hand with your right hand, and then you change your mind and take it to the outside of that left foot. Push back through your left hip. Reach your left arm high. Holding here in rotation. 4, 5, maybe the left hand stays on your hip. Zip up through your inner thighs. 4, think about pelvic lifting here. 2, nice job. 1, takes both hands down to the earth. Stabilize through your left foot. Start to tilt your weight forward. Lift that right leg up. Here's your standing split. Maybe your hands come to your leg. They might not. There's no one watching you. It's no competition. You're just putting your body in shape so that it feels better later. And I promise it will. Breathe for 3 more. 2. On 1, reset your hands on the floor. Bend into that top leg. Bend into your bottom leg. And sit down into a seated spinal twist. So now your left foot is to the outside of your right thigh. You'll rotate to the left, capturing your elbow across your knee, gazing back behind you. Breathe here. Really good. Unravel, twist over to the other side just for a beat, and then pull back through center, lean onto your hands, and stretch both legs out in front. Keep your toes lifted up to the sky. Reach your arms up. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Let's focus on lengthening and straightening our spine. So that means you're plugging your belly button in, straightening your legs, and feeling the sensation mostly along the back lines of your legs. This is for your hamstrings. Thank you. Inhale, lift up. Now place the soles of your feet together. You can scoot your bum up so you're towards the front of your mat here. Take your hands across your shins or your ankles. Lift your heart and chest up. And you're exhaling into a short hold, just 3 breaths in cobbler's pose. Come on back up, lean over to your left and take your right leg either halfway down your mat, so you're catching deer pose on the way, keeping that right knee bent, or stretch your right leg all the way back behind you, maybe stabilizing your left hip with your blanket, pigeon pose. And let's melt right down straight away in pigeon pose. And come back to our intention. How do I calm myself down? This kind of shape in particular can start to stir up a lot of inner chatter.
And so it's a good place to practice calming yourself down. Deeper breaths, softer jaw. Walk up onto your hands and let's move back into a really slow and honey-like downward dog. You're moving a little bit like you'd be moving through a bath of molasses. Imagine that. Bring the opposite leg forward now. That's your right knee coming to the back of your right wrist. Settle in and then swoosh right down and really just savor a few minutes here in pigeon pose, using your breath to get you through the parts that feel frustrating. Start to heavy your weight onto your right hip. Walk your hands into the floor and bring your left leg forward. Then come right down onto your back. And the moment you crash into the earth, bend your knees, plant your feet. Inhale, lift your pelvis up, scoop your arms beneath you, shrugging your shoulders under your body. Bridge pose, 4, 5. Chin tucking gently into your chest, 4. Pelvis keeps lifting, 3, 2. On 1, ripple down nice and slow. Straight away, bend your knees and rock them to the left and then to the right. Over to the left, over to the right. Leave them there this time. Open your arms wide, look over your left shoulder. 5 breaths. Lift your legs back up through center and twist right over to the other side. Soft eyes, soft limbs, pull you back through neutral and drape your whole body flat for final Shavasana, corpse pose. Your palms are turned up to the sky, legs relaxed. And as you lay here, can you think about someone, a person that makes you feel calm? And then think about something, an activity, an action that makes you feel calm. And as you think about this person and this thing, notice how your physical body responds just to thinking about being calm.
Maybe your jaw releases or your stomach softens. Your heart slows down. Take a little snapshot of that feeling, knowing that you can come back there anytime before gathering your breath in through your nose and blowing it out deeply through your mouth. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, rock your head from side to side. And stretch your arms all the way up overhead, yawning even as you wake yourself back up here. Bend into your knees, scoot your hips to the left and roll on over to the right. Pressing all the way up to sit. Take your hands to your heart center and set an intention, a homework intention, to use the tools you have, your breath, your movement practice, your mindfulness, to find calm. Mostly when trying to get your kids out of the door in the morning, probably, but all the other times too. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth wide and exhale. Namaste.